Hi there, welcome to the channel. My name's Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and today is Tuesday, February 25th. I wasn't sure I was going to get a second episode in this month, but here we are. I'm going to try to get it done here this morning. It is still morning, I just had to check. I will say Bill may come home in the middle of this. He had an appointment this morning. I have the feeling he may just come home before I get this done, but can't do anything about that. So hopefully the disruption will be minimal if there's a disruption. How you doing? I hope you are well. If I seem a little, it's because I am. Lots going on, but I did want to take this morning and get this recorded. I will say it probably will not actually get uploaded until tomorrow at the earliest, maybe Thursday, but you will see it before the end of February. Anyway, if you are new here, thank you so much for checking out my podcast. And if you are a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a supporter of the channel by being a member of the channel, thank you so much for that support. I really appreciate that. If you're interested in getting a little bit of extra content every month, I usually do 2 regular videos on the channel every month. Members get a bonus 3rd video. So if you're interested in that, you can check that information out. Below the video here on YouTube, there should be a little button that says join somewhere, and you can click on that and just find out what that's all about. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to do that. That helps the algorithm and send people here. I don't usually say that, but it is true, so it helps get some traction for the channel. So if you don't want to be a member, you can at least subscribe. That helps out too. Okay, all of the links to everything I'm going to talk about will be in the show notes that are below the video as well. Just click on more and that will open up that box below the video, or maybe in a sidebar. It may be different for different people. I try to put timestamps in and links to all of the projects that I talk about. Both I put them onto my Ravelry project pages as well as my project blog, which is called My Favorite Day. So I hope to make that everything accessible to everybody in one way or another. If you ever have any questions about anything I talk about that you can't find answered anywhere else, just leave a comment and I will be happy to reply. I think I may be a little behind on replying to some comments from last time, but I will double check that when I'm uploading this one. Everything else, like where you can find me online and everything, that's also listed in the show notes. So there's a lot going on. Lots going on in my world. And my mother is calling me and I need to talk to her. Okay, it wasn't anything important. I can call her back. Just always like to check in with mom when she calls, especially with her impending surgery next week. Yeah, so I think I was just starting to say life's a little crazy right now. Lots going on. That is one of the main things that's going on. We finally got a surgery date for her. She has her surgery next week, so I will be heading to Florida next week. I have a whole lot of things to get done between now and then. I'm trying to remember to breathe and know that everything that needs to get done will get done. One of the first things that needs to get done is I need to get the first club shipment out. That is definitely on schedule to go out this week before the end of the month. So if you are a member of the Warm Hug Yarn and Fiber Club, you should be getting your shipping notice in the next few days. So I'm really excited about getting that first shipment out. I am working really hard on some other projects that are not going to be happening super soon, but like the work has to happen now, like the next installment of the Year of Gnomes collaboration that I'm doing with Steph from Adorn It and Sarah from Imagine Landscapes. The spring installment of that's going to be coming up soon, so I have some work I have to get done with that before I go away. I've got some other Gnomey goodness that's going to be happening in my shop that I can't really talk about right now, but stay tuned. Newsletter is the best way to find this stuff out. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter already, you can do that from any page of my website, fibernymphdyworks.com. There's a link at the top. There's a link at the bottom. Subscribe to the newsletter and you won't miss out on anything. What else is going on? Let me look at my show notes. Pi Day. Pi Day is coming up. So because I had so many unknowns happening this year, because of my mom's surgery that we didn't know the date for that until last week, and then in that waiting period since I talked to you last, until I found that out, I had a health scare. Because shouldn't everybody have one occasionally? No, I'm being completely facetious. You don't need one. Don't have them. It was boob related. I can tell you it is 99% nothing. I have been to enough doctors now and had things happen that we are fairly sure it is just an autoimmune related thing, because why not? I have enough of those. Why not add one more? I do have another appointment today though with my dermatologist who should be able to clarify that for me. But anyway, that was a very non-fun few weeks while I was getting that worked through, but because I didn't know what was going to be happening, and I was also totally frightened that I was not going to be able to go to see my mom while she was having her surgery and be there with her, because I didn't know what was going to be going on with me. Like, I just put a lot of things on hold that I didn't want to put things out in the shop, like die to order things to turn around, because I wasn't sure what my turnaround times would be able to be depending on what was going on. Because again, life, being lifey, it happens. But now that I know what's happening, I am going to be putting up my 2025 Pi Day colorway as a pre-order on March 1st. Okay, I like to usually have some of that in stock. That will not be happening this year. I apologize. So I personally am looking at March as Pi Day month this year, as opposed to just having it be a day. I can't feasibly get things in the shop, but I do have a colorway, and this is my Pi Day colorway this year, and it's called Kawaii Pi. So if you are a fan of kawaii art, the really cute little things with the big eyes and the smiles that are so warm and cuddly, and I love them so much. And that's what inspired it, is the colors from those kawaii things. Some of them are a little more subdued. I went with the brighter ones though, because they make me happy. But this is a Pi Day colorway, but what you might notice is there are 7 colors in this one. My Pi Day colorways are traditionally 5 colors. So 5 colors that stripe in the pi sequence of numbers. This one is the very first one I've ever done with more than 5. So there are 7 colors in this striping sequence, in the color sequence, that will stripe through the pi digits. The same way all of my Pi Day colorways do, except it'll be over 7 colors instead of just 5. So that's something new. I'm super excited about it. And this is what the colorway looks like. Again, it's called Kawaii Pi. It will be up for pre-order starting on March 1st. So this is the self-striping, obviously. I will also have mini skein sets. So this is the mini skeins on mountain tweed, merino fingering. Just so I wanted to do it on a tweed so you could see what it would look like there. Oh, here it is in the skein, self-striping. And then I also did it on fiber. I've already photographed all these, that's why they're in packages. This is an example of what the fiber looks like, all the colors in there. It's a variegated, and this one is on Tarhi bamboo silk, which is such a fun, squishy fiber. And then I also dyed up one of the, I just think one of the boops just flew out. Here it is. He left us. A spinning set, and I did this on, oh my gosh, words, Lisa, mixed BFL. So there you go. All of these things will be up in the shop. It will be a pre-order listing. There will be multiple options as far as yarn bases and fiber bases. So not just these ones, but there will be others. So those will be in the shop. The other thing that will be in the shop actually a few of them are already up if you want to look at them now, is I swapped out some of my die to order pie colorways. So some of the ones that have been up there for quite a while, they are not up there now, although my signature pie and second breakfast pie, those remain in the shop because those are kind of collections that I keep up all the time, my signature colorways and my Middle Earth Imagined colorways. Anyway, the ones that are in the shop right now that you can see are shepherd's pie, fungi pie, and pie a la mode. Those are 3 of my past Pie Day colorways. I haven't had those in the shop in a while. And 2 other ones that I will be adding to the shop really soon before the 1st. I brought back my very original Pie Day colorway. This was the very first one, and it was inspired, literally back in the day, it was inspired by flavors of pie. So you can read the listing about that. Yeah, it's so funny to think how far it's come because it did. The first 3 colorways were literally fruits. And then after that, it kind of diverged into other things. Obviously, pie a la mode is flavors of ice cream that you would eat with pie, but not all of them have been flavors. It has been other things. So like Kawaii Pi, it's pie based on the colors of the little kawaii characters. So there will be the original pie will be available, and then another one. I didn't do the second one because a second helping of pie actually was never a super popular colorway, which is fine. They can't all be super popular. But the one of them that really was, and I'm not done knitting the sample. See, this was back in the day before I actually did knit samples. So that's why I'm knitting samples now. This is the darker side of pie, and the 5 colors in this were fruits that you would not want to eat because they're poisonous. But this one was always very popular, so I'm knitting up a sample of that, and once this one's done, I'll put those last 2 up, and they will be in the shop. But as I said, all the Pie Day stuff will be up and ready in the shop by March 1st, and the new one will be available as of March 1st as a die to order. The turnaround times are definitely going to be at least 4 or 5 weeks, I gotta say, just because I'm going to be out of town for over a week. I can't promise it any faster. So as long as you're willing to wait, you can get your pie colorways and knit them up. And on actual Pie Day on March 14th, I hope you'll find a slice of pie to eat and celebrate. Maybe you have a Pie Day colorway at home that you haven't knit. Pull that out and you can work on that. But anyway, that is my plan for Pie Day this year, or for celebrating the Pie Day month. I do, and I can't remember if I said this last episode or not. I am going to be coming out with at least 1 anniversary color, possibly 2, but at least 1. I usually have that in the shop by now, but again, because of all of the uncertainty that was going on, I didn't want to rush it and didn't want to make promises for something that I could not, turn around and get out. So that will be coming sometime later this spring. So you can be waiting for that. Okay, I think that is everything as far as announcements. Let's get into the crafting because I do have a lot to show you. I've been a busy knitter. We've got a couple of hats. We're going to start with hats. First up, there is this cabled hat, which it doesn't really have a name. I started out with my Call Before Digging pattern as a sort of a base to start with, but it's definitely a different pattern than that. So it's got lots and lots of cables going on. I do think I'm going to write this one up. It's fun. I liked how it turned out, and I really love how self-striping looks with cables. I think it's really fun. This is on my Strong DK base, and this is the Midwinter colorway. I realized I really didn't put any of this in the shop this winter. I have a couple of winter colorways that I didn't get to, and I feel like it's a little too late to do them now. So I'll have to earmark them and make sure I put them up next year in the fall. So anyway, but that's that hat. I'll probably keep this one as a sample since I am planning to write it up. It won't be a charity hat, but it was on US 5 and 6 needles, 5 for the brim and then 6 for the rest of the hat. And here's what the top looks like, because that's always fun. Anyway, so that was a quick knit for me. All these projects that I'm going to show you all happened after the end of the pigskin party. I did finish the pigskin party fairly close to the top as far as yards knit. So I was pretty happy with that, or yards, submitted for things. I don't know. I don't really know where I ended up. And honestly, I'm so behind on Jen's podcast. I don't even know if I was ever announced as a prize winner for anything during the podcast or during the event, but whatever. It's fun. I do it for the fun, not so much for any prizes. So anyway, here's my other hat. This is just a scrappy hat that I was inspired to work on this because my friend Sarah, who's PA Knitwit, she's a member of our group too. She went on a real kick of knitting scrappy hats. I think she was holding 3 strands of fingering weight together for hers. This is only 2, but it's a bunch of different self-striping colors of my yarn that I held together and knit into this hat. I did a 2x2 rib for the brim, and then I did a broken rib for the body of the hat. So it was, knit 2, purl 2 for 2 rounds, and then switched to just knit the whole way around for 2 rounds. And I just alternated that throughout the whole hat. So anyway, that turned out great. And that was also on US 5s and 6s. That's my usual needle size for doing DK weight hats. So anyway, there was that. And that's my February charity hat, by the way. Officially, this one is a charity hat, so it will be donated. Okay, next up, finished objects. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have some local friends, girlfriends, who we usually get together around the holidays. We do our little holiday gathering, give each other gifts. Well, this year it didn't work out for us to get together before the holidays. So we thought, okay, we'll do it right after the holidays. That didn't work out. So finally, we were supposed to get together, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And I had their gifts ready. They ended up not being the original gifts that I was going to make for them, but I'll show you in a minute what we did. Anyway, we were supposed to go to the one girl's house, and the weather ended up being atrocious. I was halfway there because I needed to do some other things. And then we had to cancel because I went in Joann Fabrics to get some stuff. Is anybody else panic buying now that Joann's is closing? I don't even want to go there. But anyway, I went into Joann's. I was in there maybe 45 minutes. I came out to I don't know how much snow on my car, over an inch of icy, gross snow. And I still had a ways to drive to get to this girl's house. And so we're all texting, do we want to do this? Do any of us want to actually be out in this weather? And we decided to put it on hold. So I didn't even get to give them the presents that I finally finished the day before. But I'll show you what I did make because I kept making them. Well, here, I'll put a picture in of their gifts. I made these really cute little sleeves for reusable. These are the cups. They're reusable coffee cups. I think they're cool because they look like a regular paper coffee cup, but they have this little thing on them already. So this is Copco is the brand. I got them off of Amazon. They're in sets of 4. I ended up with 2 packages of them because I ordered the first one and then realized a couple days later that the ship by date was going to be after I was supposed to give them to people. And so I real quick ordered another set from another seller, I guess, that was going to get here in 2 days. And then I tried to cancel the first order and they're like, oh no, you can't cancel it. We already shipped it. I'm like, what do you mean you already shipped it? You said you weren't shipping it for another week and a half. So I just decided to keep them all. They'll make great gifts. Maybe I'll use them for prizes in the make-along this year too. Who knows? Anyway, so this is what the mugs look like. And so the sleeves are just super simple. And again, I was using 2 strands of fingering weight held double to make these. I did 3 more for this one. I decided since I have all these mugs, I'm just going to make some of these and have them in standby mode so they're ready as gifts. So here's the ones that I I just did. I obviously did not weave in the ends on these though. So I have found that my bind off edge is actually the better edge to put towards the top because it's a little stretchier than my cast on edge. And obviously this is just for decoration because it has that little built-in sleeve on it, but doesn't that look nicer? I mean, come on now. Why have a plastic sleeve when you can just have a pretty handmade sleeve? Yeah, so they were super fun to make, and I just kept making them and making them and making them because they were so much fun. Everybody got 3 sleeves along with their mug, or will be getting them when they actually get their gifts because we still have not rescheduled. So what do I need to tell you about that project? I did not follow a pattern. I cast on 45 stitches. I tried one with fewer stitches than that, and it was a really snug. So my next one, I did 45 stitches, did a 2x1 rib, US 5 needles, holding 2 strands of fingering weight together, and I just worked it until it was about 4 inches tall, 4.25 inches, bound off, and that was it. Woven the ends on the ones I have wrapped to give to people. But yeah, that's it. Super easy, super fun. I really like it. You could probably make these to use with coffee cups that you get like at a coffee shop, you know, in an actual paper cup. Save the paper sleeve, you know. So anyway, that was a fun project. What else? Let's see. Oh, okay. We're going to now move on to mostly finished things, which is my coffee bean cardigan. And I am going to pause here for a moment and take this sweater off and put this one on so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, here we are. You're obviously not going to be able to see the full effect right now unless I stand up. I'll try to do that. But anyway, the knitting is finished. It is blocked. In some respects, it is overzealously blocked. I was concerned about the pattern opening up. My swatch, I don't have it here. I've showed it to you before though. My swatch was beautiful. And in fact, my swatch did not lie. My swatch, the fabric opened up just the same as it did on my swatch. It softened up this yarn. This is Plymouth Tweed. Don't remember the color. I'll put that in it's in the project notes. Anyway, yeah, the fabric is beautiful. The yarn is much softer than it felt as I was working with it. Perfect, right? It opened up widthwise just the way my swatch said it would. Okay, we're gonna get down now. Hi, this is Tippy. You can see the demon in her, can't you? Huh? Yeah. You're a lovely little baby. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Things that happened that I wasn't expecting. Lengthwise. Honey, don't bump the tripod. Okay. Lengthwise blocking. It grew lengthwise in a way that I was not expecting based on the swatch. In my defense, I don't know that I actually paid attention to any lengthwise blocking in the swatch, but I also don't think it grew as much, but it could be because this is more fabric. You will see, well, number one, the sleeves are too long. Okay, I have to do something with Tippy or she's just gonna keep bumping into the tripod. Okay, hang on. Gave her some catnip. Actually, I think she knows that Bill should be sitting here eating lunch soon, which he's not going to be because he's not home. And she likes to come visit for lunch. Okay, anyway, sleeves are too long. I have the cuffs rolled up. It's fine. I definitely can't wear them long because if I do this, I'm going to be pushing them up. That's going to be causing bunching here, and I don't like that. So for right now, I'm just rolling the sleeves up, the cuffs up. I will eventually probably tear them out, rip them back a little bit, and make them shorter. That'll be easy enough. I can do that. Not a problem. That's fine. The bigger problem, and I have not put the buttons on yet. I don't have them out here either, but I have these really pretty little pewter buttons. My members actually helped me pick those because I had a couple different button options and everybody resoundingly wanted the pewter buttons, and I agree, they look really pretty. So hopefully you'll see those next time I show this to you. But what you can see, hopefully, is, okay, so here's my waist. Here are my hips, which you can see because I'm a little hippie there. But this comes down, oh my gosh, let's see, can I go back for it? There, okay. You can see how long this is. This is not the length I was going for this sweater. When I finished knitting it, it was about here. That is where I wanted the bottom to end. Now, so I've got, oh, sorry. I've got about an extra 5 inches of length on this sweater that it does not need and that I really don't want. But it was a bottom-up sweater, and that is the downside to bottom-up sweaters, is they are not easy to modify lengthwise. So what am I gonna do? And I'll tell you what, the main reason I don't love this length, I mean, the length is okay. It's just more jackety than sweatery, this length. It's not the end of the world. What I don't like, though, is when this is gonna be buttoned, and I'm sorry you can't see my mouth while I'm talking when I'm standing up, but this is the best I can do. When this is buttoned, I'm gonna see this. And again, this is my body. I am fine with my body. These hips don't lie, I don't know. They say, here I am, but the sweater, when it's buttoned, is going to show that. And I don't love how that looks. So here are what I'm seeing as my viable options. And I will also say, I did not purposely try to block this long. Once the fabric was wet, it just did that. I expected, because I was blocking it for width to open this pattern up, that it would rise the length. Usually you lose length when you're blocking for width. At least that's been my experience. I think because, though, this is sort of an open pattern, there was enough yarn in there that it didn't need to pull up, it just opened up. And I think that's what happened. Makes sense to me anyway. All right, so how am I gonna fix my length issue? What I think I'm gonna do is I am going to reblock just the bottom part of the sweater, probably about the bottom 10 inches. I'm gonna re-soak that, lay it out, and I am going to like pin it as if it's buttoned, like I'll use my blocking combs so that that's shut. And then I'm going to use my blocking wires to kind of create an A-line kind of shape to the bottom half of the body of the sweater. I think that is what I'm going to do. I don't need any extra room up here. It fits really well right in the bust area, so I don't want it to be any wider up there. But from about my waist on down to the bottom, which is approximately 10 inches, I would say, I'm going to see if I can get it to flare out. If I can get it to flare out, then I think that will eliminate that booping in that it wants to do at the bottom. And it's not even a matter of ribbing, because you'll remember I did this ridiculous garter, this garter band at the bottom. Big mistake. Shouldn't have done that. I could, okay. That's what I'm going to try first. That's what I'm going to try first. Hopefully that'll work out and life will be grand and I can wear my sweater and be happy with it. If that doesn't work. Now, I have in the past with other sweaters that needed to be modified lengthwise that were worked bottom up. You can stick a needle in the whole way around, right? And then snip and remove that bottom portion and then just knit your ribbing. I've thought of that, but the problem with that is, number one, the button band is already on. The button band is perfect. I never get a button band perfect first go, and there's no way I am removing this button band. I'm just not. I'm not doing it because it's perfect. Even if it wasn't, though, and I was okay with removing it, which I'm not, because of this fabric and this stitch pattern, and you've got yarn overs, and then you've got these past stitches over, it makes it really hard to identify a row where there are just knits and purls. I have tippy hair in my mouth now. that I would be able to put a needle in the whole way around. If I could do that, I would simply like use my sewing machine and then like stitch across the button band to make that not an issue, and I would cut that and then rip out the bottom part of the sweater. At least in theory, I think I could probably do that somehow. But I don't think I can. I don't think I can get a needle in there. So that leaves my most extreme option for modifying length, and that would be to actually sew like a zigzag line about 6.5 inches up from the bottom to secure all the stitches, and then just cut it off and then pick up and knit ribbing down. I would be concerned to do that. Now, this is a sticky yarn, so I have that going in my favor, but doing that, I'm concerned because like when you steek vertically, your stitches, which are running horizontally, they don't want to unravel horizontally, right? Stitches want to unravel vertically. So if I cut a horizontal line across my sweater, then that means all those vertical lines of stitches are just like, woohoo! So even if I did do like a double or triple zigzag across there, I would just be super concerned that over time something would let go and cause problems. So I don't really want to do that. I'm really hoping the reblocking the bottom of the sweater will take care of my issues. That would be great because that'll take care of that. I can fix my sleeves super easily. And I just need to put buttons on it. And I think it'll be great. I love it. I love how it fits. It's beautiful. All the modifications that I made. Oh, and I did end up doing the sleeves in coffee bean stitch. I think last time when I talked to you, I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the sleeves. I did end up doing that. And when I first started the first one, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. It was looking super bulky and just didn't look good at all. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to knit it. I picked up stitches around the armhole. I knit it down and it was super snug. You know, I did do it on a bigger needle. The whole sweater was knit on a 7. I did the sleeves on 8s because I know when I do smaller circumference things, they tend to be tighter. And I did do it, both of them, magic loop. And that worked fine. And like I said, it opened up great. I'm so happy with how everything fits from the waist up on this sweater. I'm really happy with my V-neck. I think I'm gonna be happy once it's buttoned as well. My pewter buttons are a little smaller than what I was thinking I was gonna use, so I'm probably gonna need to reinforce my buttonholes a little bit just so that they don't pop open. But honestly, I love how this has turned out so far. So as long as I can get that bottom part to not do the little boop thing at the bottom, I will be so very happy. So anyway, that is the story of where this sweater is now. Almost done. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to do anything with it again before I go away because it's not a super top priority. I certainly will not need to take it with me to Florida because apparently my mother is having hot temperatures down there, which means that's another thing I have to do is dig out like warm temperature clothing. So many things to do. Anyway, so yeah, that's where my coffee bean cardigan is. Hopefully the next time you see it, it will be completely finished and I can officially give you pretty pictures showing it. So there you go. I'm going to switch back out of it now though because I am actually a little bit warm. So be right back. Alrighty. Where are we? Sweater. Okay, 2 other items to show you. I did show this to you last time, and this is my shawl that I am making out of that beautiful alpaca yarn that my friend so graciously gifted me. She did tell after the last podcast she watched, she's like, and she told me again where the yarn is from, and I have it written in a note that she sent me with the yarn, and I just didn't have it with me last time. The yarn is from Gibraltar Bay Alpacas, which is in Michigan. So anyway, here's what I've got so far. I'm about 60% of the way done with this project based on the amount of yarn I have left. So the pattern that I'm using is called Richland by D. O'Keefe. I am not following the pattern as written. I know, you're shocked. As I said last time, I'm just doing the lace panel, and I'm doing it twice, and then I will be seaming it together, so when it's done, it will actually look like it will be a parallelogram. So this is one part of it. I'm doing it, I'm doing the two halves of it concurrently, so they're both on the go. This was the point where I stopped increasing, got to the end of the increases, so now I'm just doing an 8-row repeat over and over and over to get this beautiful lace panel. I love this gray. It's so gorgeous. Isn't it beautiful? I wish you could see. I don't really have, let's see, can I hold this up behind it? Maybe you'll see the pattern a little bit better if I do this. Can you see that? Isn't it lovely? That's not the best way, but you'll see it eventually in all its glory. So I'm not going to take both of them out, but just imagine. I do have 2 of these that are the same length. I've been weighing my yarn after each 8-row repeat, and each one is taking approximately, I want to say 6 grams, but I don't think that's right. 3 to 4 grams, I believe, each repeat is taking. So I am estimating that when this is done, before it's blocked, it will probably be about 4.5 feet long once it's seamed together. That's not super long for a scarf, but it will be plenty enough around my neck because alpaca is wool. This does not need to wrap around my neck a million times. But I think it's going to just be gorgeous. And I'll tell you what, I'm having so much fun with it. This has become my morning, like at the table, breakfast time project because those 8 rows, I have them memorized. It's very intuitive looking at that lace. And so that just makes it so easy to work on. It's been a delightful project for me. So I'm really happy with that. I will probably take this with me to Florida to work on as well. I'm driving to Florida. That makes what I take with me so much more wide open. Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, so that is my Richland, my modified, heavily modified Richland. Anything else I need to tell you? Nope, that's everything with that. The last project is a new project that I have cast on. And I was inspired to cast this on because of a project that Carol from the A Stitch in Time podcast is working on. And it is with the same exact yarn, and I'm doing the same exact pattern that she is also doing. The yarn is my A Legacy colorway. This is some bounce, and this was actually a skein of Oopsie. There was a little bit of flecking in one of the green colors that was not meant to be in there. You can't see it on here. It's really mild. There's actually a few skeins of this Oopsie left in the shop right now. So if you want it, like, it's there, but you really can't see the blue. I could see it when I was rescanning it. That's why I put it up as an Oopsie. But anyway, so this is the heel toe do-si-do pattern, in case you don't recognize it. I have knit this sock pattern twice before, and I did the Swing Your Partner mitts, which is basically the same patterning in a mitt. And it's by Kay Litton, who's the crazy sock lady. And Carol started doing her A Legacy socks using this pattern because she remembered that this colorway was inspired by the blanket, the Afghan that my grandmother, who I always called Nana, had made. She crocheted it sometime, probably back in the 60s, early 70s. I'm going to say 60s because, long story. But anyway, anyhow, she did that Afghan, and I love the colors, and so that's why I made this colorway. And I don't know why I did not think about doing this sock using that, because this mimics the chevron in the blanket. So I'm having so much fun. And again, this is another pattern that's so memorizable. It's only 2 rows, 2 rounds. And you're only doing the patterning on the front. The back is just stockinette. And every other round is just knit. So there's only 1 patterning row. So I'm having fun with this. Now, here's the really, really cool thing that happened just yesterday. So I think I hear the door. Anyway. As I told you, I had this whole medical weird thing, this breast scare. I ended up having to go to a breast specialist yesterday, who is in town. I live near Pittsburgh, so it's about an hour away, and I had to go to the north side to the hospital down there where this breast center was, right? Went to the appointment, everything went fine. He's the one who's like, yeah, I don't think this is a thing. You're okay. Go see a dermatologist. But the thing is, this hospital is very close to where my mother's family lived when she was growing up. I don't get over to that part of town very often, so I don't get to go revisit that area. But as soon as I was over on the north side yesterday morning, I was like, there is something about this area that I just love. And so I had already made up my mind that once I got through this whole appointment thing and whatever happened, I was going to go up to Troy Hill, which is where my mother's family lived. And I was going to stop by the house where she lived. I was going to at least go down that street so I could see the house. And I was going to go up to the cemetery on Mount Troy where my mother's parents are buried. I have not been to this cemetery, to those graves, in decades. Like, decades. I know I went there with my mom as a kid, because she used to go do the graves all the time every year. So I know I was there several times as a kid. I don't think I've been there since I was probably in my early to mid 20s. So in my brain, like, this isn't a huge cemetery, but in my brain, I had this vision of where it was. Like, I remembered we would always park on a hill and they were off on the right. I'm driving around this little cemetery. I'm like, I don't see anything that looks familiar. And I actually found pictures of the graves on this grave finder website, which was kind of cool. But like, I'm like, okay, I am not seeing this, and I'm not seeing a location that looks super familiar. So I had to stop and call my mother. And basically my mother gave me a driving tour of the cemetery over the phone while I'm looking for these graves. And I found them. Like, I finally found them because I forgot about this one little side road that you can go down. And there they were. My grandfather's headstone was toppled over. We don't know how long it's been that way. It's been a while though, because it was looking pretty bad, but it's a very old cemetery. A lot of the gravestones are messed up. I don't think it's like malicious, like anybody's toppling them. I think just over time things are sinking, because even as I was walking around, it was very gross and muddy, and there was still some snow on the ground. Like, things were just mushy, and I think things, but there is perpetual care at that cemetery, so hopefully things will get taken care of. But anyway, I found those stones, and I also found my great-grandmother's, who I've talked about when I talked about the legacy colorway, and my great-grandmother did like tatting, lace work and stuff like that. Found their graves. Anyway, I took this picture of my grandmother, my Nana, modeling my sock in the colorway that was inspired by the blanket that she made. I know it's super corny, but oh my gosh, it made me so happy. And I just stood there and I talked to her and I told her all about my yarn business, and it was just so cool. Anyway, so that was just such a fun, full circle kind of thing for me in the weirdest way possible. And things happen for a reason. Had I not had to gone down there to this breast specialist place, I wouldn't have been near there. I wouldn't have been at that cemetery. I wouldn't have had a reason to go up there and model my sock with my grandmother's headstone. I know it's weird. I'm a weird person, but like, that was important to me. It just felt significant. And anyway, so that was my experience. So that's my sock. And the sock will also be coming with me on my trip to Florida. So, because it's easy, obviously. Okay, so that's all of the crafting. That is, I think, the end of my strange side stories. Anyway, yeah. So at this point, I did a little bit of spinning, I'm sure, since I talked to you last, but it's not been, a top priority. Other crafting, the only other thing I've been doing regularly, and I just did this one this morning, is I've been painting. There's a YouTube, actually I think she's on TikTok too, but I found her on YouTube, this zentangle woman who does all these really cool paintings, and I love watching her videos because they're just they're super relaxing to listen to. And I've been doing these for a couple weeks now. I try to do one every day. I usually don't use a full sheet of paper. I only use a half a sheet of this watercolor paper. But since I had extra time this morning, I thought, you know what, I'm going to just do the full one because she had a longer video out that was similar to this design. I kind of went my own way with it. But it's just like, I just have some cheapy watercolors and I'm not good at it. My lines are not nearly as crisp as hers. They touch, she calls it kissing when the lines kiss. But I don't care. That's not what it's meant to be. She's also a professional artist. I'm not. But it's been really fun and relaxing. So yeah, that's been fun. Other than that, I think that's it for the crafting. So I will just mention that our Choose Your Own Adventure Make-Along is going on through this year. We are in the second month of it, so March will be the third month, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. At the end of March, I will be doing some prizes, so please feel free to join in. It's exactly as it sounds like, choose your own adventure. There are very few rules, guidelines. If you're going to take part in the optional Fiber Nymph Dye Works component of the Make-Along, there are some more specific guidelines that need to be followed, but it's still pretty open and loosey-goosey. You can find the information about the Make-Along in the Ravelry group, on my blog, on the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. I don't think it's pinned. Matter of fact, I think last year's Make-Along is still pinned at the top. I'm not sure why. I thought I had that changed, but it will be changed soon. Excuse me. And I also did an intro video here on YouTube, so you can check back in my videos and you'll see that. So I hope you'll join in. You can join in on Ravelry, you can join in on Instagram, however, or you don't even have to like post anything anywhere. If you just want to join along in spirit, that is fine too. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. As I said, like, life has just been really lifey lately, you know, between my mom, we finally have the date for her, my weird stuff going on, which finally is no longer a worrisome issue, thankfully, so I can go down there and be with her. Bill's shoulder, he just actually had his appointment with his orthopedic this morning, and he does not need to have surgery. She thinks he has adhesive capsulitis, which is also known as frozen shoulder. He had that on his other shoulder several years ago. And I guess once you've had it once, you're very likely to get it on the other side too, especially if you have injured your shoulder, which he has. So basically it's going to be physical therapy. They gave him a cortisone shot today, and then he has to have, it's kind of creepy. It's like an injection that like expands the capsule in your shoulder. He's going to have that done next week. So anyway, that should be under control. He should be feeling better because he has not been sleeping well because his shoulder's been hurting so bad. And he has enough trouble sleeping. He doesn't need more trouble sleeping. Yeah, I've been painting as my form of relaxation. I've been doing some meditation. I don't know where I came across it, but there was an app called Balance that I found recently, and I've really enjoyed that. I've been mostly doing it every day, only for like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. There's like these little things that walk you through a little relaxation, breathing, meditation-y kind of thing. It's been nice because I've been able to then tap into that when I need it, like yesterday before, in the middle of this doctor's appointment when things were a little weird. But yeah, it's been great. So I hope you're finding ways to like stay stress-free. The other thing I have been purposely doing is not watching the news. I read my news because I can take it in chunks that like suit me. Bill is very much a watch the news on TV person. Like, he has it on during dinner, and I have basically just boycotted. If he puts it on during dinner, I put my earbuds or my headphones on and I listen to happy music or I listen to a podcast, and I feel rude because he's sitting here eating too, but I've been very upfront with him. I'm like, I cannot do this. It is not good for my mental health. It is not good for my stress. I am not going to sit here and listen to this garbage that's going on while I am eating. Just not. So I hope you are finding a way to keep sane and calm and happy. You need to find your joy where you can. That's my theory. Find your joy where you can. As long as it's not hurting somebody else, and not hurting you. Do what makes you happy and brings you joy. We need that because we can't do anything else for anyone else if we aren't taking care of ourselves, right? Okay. I'm going to go. I'm probably going to try to record something while I'm in Florida. I don't know if it'll be a full episode. It may just be a members video. I almost always do a members video from Florida, but I will try to maybe record something to share with you guys on the general channel as well while I'm down there. So anyway, wish me luck on that trip. I will be driving. It's a 2-day drive for me because I can't do it all in one day. On the way back, I am really hoping I will get to connect with my grandson at his school because that's about halfway point. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, until I talk to you next time, have a wonderful, crafty next week or two, and hang in there. Everything's going to be great. Love you guys. Bye.